I'm so pleased today to be able to introduce you to Craig McKenney. He's the VP of Procurement at Best Buy. We all know Best Buy. So Craig, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dawn.
So, cost savings initiatives, important at your company?
Extremely important right now. And we've spent a lot of time in the last year getting refocused in terms of controlling our SG&A. And procurement's been a key player in supporting that mandate.
How does it go? Is it supported wide throughout your company, or is it something you have to force upon them?
We've been working the support sort of from both ends. So, we do some work with the top executives of the company, ensuring they understand the programs that we're deploying and the areas where we're focusing our resources. But it also requires a pretty strong grassroots effort. At Best Buy, we have a culture of entrepreneurialism. We have a culture of distributed decision making. And so it's important to kind of get people in the boat, and build support all the way up, from the managers through to the directors to the vice presidents and the rest of the officer chain. So it takes a lot of work from both ends, but we're having a lot of success.
So now, do you support the stores as well as corporate? How does that work?
Yeah, there's some things in the stores that that are not for resale, if you will, and so those are things that we might be a part of the supply chain for. So, for example, fixtures in the stores would be something that my team would help with sourcing. As an example. But typically most of the spend is back at the corporate functions. And so out in the stores you might use some office supplies, you have the fixtures, you have some printing, you have things that are happening in the stores, but most of that work is being done back at corporate to supply them.
And how large is Best Buy?
It's about almost $50 billion right now globally.
And how many employees?
155,000 I think right now.
That's a lot of people to manage, a lot of spend.
Yeah.
And how many countries are you in?
Well, right now we're predominantly in North America and Europe,
Uh-huh.
and we have a really thriving business in China as well.
Oh.
So the majority of the business, probably 70% is North America, and you've got kind of 20% in Europe, and then in China is maybe a smaller piece.
So where's your procurement organization? Is 70% of it here, or is 100% of it here domestically?
It's largely in North America. We're split between Minneapolis, and then we have a team in Vancouver as well that handles some of our Canadian businesses' needs. And we have an additional team in Europe that supports the chain in Europe, which is actually a joint venture between ourselves and another organization. And then in China, they sort of look after their own things in the local country.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So does your organization, the procurement organization, get involved in outsourcing at Best Buy?
Yeah, absolutely. So, outsourcing, we play a key role in all of our outsourcing spend. So when you're looking at, if part of the business wants to outsource, then they would start that process with us to identify the scope they were looking to take to market. We also play an additional role as the vendor management organization for the company, falls into my domain. And there we're seeking to kind of, manage the governance aspect of the various outsourcing relationships that we have in the company. So we have a vendor management team that focuses on governance and relationships with the larger suppliers and helping foster, better outcomes between the suppliers and the internal customers. So we play a big role in outsourcing.
Now, have you been involved in outsourcing since the very beginning, or is it something that you got invited to later on in the game?
In terms of at Best Buy or personally?
At Best Buy, yeah.
No, we've always played an integral role in the outsourcing space. And in fact, kind of the roots of my team before I got there was in terms of helping to balance, how the outsourcer was working with the internal clients. So it was set up as a commercial mechanism to make sure that we were having success with our outsourcers and managing with a strong commercial discipline the buy side of the arrangement, if you will. So it's been over a number of years, and the role's changed. I mean, now we're focusing more time on innovation. We're talking a lot about helping develop the supplier relationship and foster the governance that's necessary for long-term success. So it's not just about cost at all, when it comes to the outsourcing relationships that we have.
Okay, so you've been in the space for a while in procurement.
Yeah.
Innovation and procurement, they never came together.
Yeah.
And now we're hearing it all the time. So,
yeah, fair enough.
So why? Why are we suddenly saying that procurement people can be innovators when they used to be seen as an overhead organization?
I think what's happening is that the clients, internal customers of ours, they're expecting us to do things that we didn't do before. And so they're not just looking for help with cost. They're looking for talent to come from procurement that might not have been in procurement before and to help us think about their supply markets. And I think as an extension of that, in the supplier relationship side, they're looking for our guidance in terms of how they might have more success with building those stronger relationships. And so it's everything from speed to innovation these days. And procurement plays an important role at Best Buy in helping on the innovation space. So about a year ago, we started to kind of lay a foundation for how we could think about innovation with some of the suppliers. And we've been basically focusing on the governance and looking at how we can ask suppliers to make investments on our behalf that can drive innovation and bring value to Best Buy. So, we're kind of at the beginning of the journey, but we're making, actual progress, and we have contracts in place now with some key suppliers where they're required to deliver innovation that before, might have been voluntary rather than a structure of the actual agreement.
So we see innovation as something that's evolving now. It's truly recent. A few years ago, we didn't have an office of a chief procurement office. We didn't have that type of office even existing. We now do. They've seen that we can add strategic benefit to the bottom line and top line growth, I'm assuming, through innovation. What do you think, why do you think it took so long for us to be recognized as a profession that should be respected?
I'm not too sure that I'd be well positioned to answer that one. I actually haven't only been in procurement for about 6 or 7 years. So, if you went back, probably the roots of that might go back as far as 20 plus years ago into procurement's role. So I think what's changing though in the case of Best Buy is that we're just being looked at to deliver more talent, with more capability for out of the box thinking to really help the business, go after their strategy and be successful. And we leverage third parties for a lot of that. And we've always been that way as a company. So it's not really new at Best Buy, the idea that a supplier is going to add value to the business. I mean, fundamentally, our merchant organizations have, close relationships with all of the major manufacturers in the world. And they think long and hard about having strong relationships with those companies and bringing innovation to our actual customers that walk in the store. Because that's what our brand's all about, is that customer that comes in the door and being able to show them all the technology that's at their disposal, from the world market right now. So we think that way, I think, as an organization, and that makes it a bit easier as well.
I would say, I love your stores, by the way.
Good.
I love shopping, and so do all my kids and my husband. We're frequent visitors there. So because of the type of thing you're doing, and it's always technology, and it's always the latest and greatest gadgets and tools and things like that, are you able to attract younger and more talent to your organization that other people might struggle with?
I think so. I mean, there's a culture at Best Buy that comes with an energy that most places don't have. So most people that wind up working at Best Buy are really excited by the energy of the company. And it's not just coming from youth, it's the whole age spectrum of the workforce. But certainly there is a lot of youth in the stores and in corporate as well, and the people that are most excited about the newest technologies. I mean, sometimes it's young people, sometimes it's a grandparent, right? Yeah. So it's kind of ubiquitous now in the household. Everybody's getting into it. But the company itself, we have a really good vibe. If you ever, you come to Best Buy, you'll feel it. You walk in and you go, wow, there's an energy here that you're not going to find at most Fortune 500 companies, right?
Yeah, and the customer experience is so great. I was actually told that I was overspending by $100 on something I was buying the other day because I had my husband's list of what I need to get. And I didn't know what it was I was buying, and the guy said, "What are you going to use it for?" I explained, and he said, "No, you can save $100 and buy something different." And I thought that experience was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And if that type of customer experience transcends all the way up through procurement, what a great company that would be to work for.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And when you talk about the customer itself, that experience, I mean, the company takes a great deal of pride in terms of how it services the customer in the store. And it's great. One of the things I get to do as someone in corporate is, once a year around the holiday season, we actually get to go out and work in the stores.
Oh,
and it's a great experience because people come in and they're looking for help, and we're unbiased. I mean, we're not bound to any one manufacturer of any product, and so we talk to people about what their needs are, and to actually experience that, it's very satisfying, and it's a non-commission model. So the people, we train them well, and they're there to help you have a successful, connected experience with all the technology, and the company delivers on that promise, so it's good.
So when are you going to have more iPad 2s in stock?
I don't know. It probably depends on Apple, I'm guessing, right?
I don't know. I've been trying. I've been trying ever since they came out. I was in line, and the first day I couldn't get it.
Well, they've done a phenomenal job, obviously, building the brand and creating a lot of excitement with the customers, and obviously we're pleased to be a part of that, so it's good.
Good. So with a company like yours and with the type of spirit you have and energy, do you have corporate mandates where all purchasing must go through purchasing, or do they not do mandates in this kind of environment?
We don't formally do mandates, although we've been tightening policy since I got on board a year and a half ago. And so we're using policy as a tool, combined with transparency and the corporate relationships to kind of move people in the right direction. So we don't operate with the carrot and the stick model, if you will. It's the carrot. But we're working harder to kind of make it the behavior every day that reinforces what we're trying to do. But it's not about the stick at Best Buy. But we've had tremendous success in the last year. We're seeing strong demand for the capability that we're building, and we've been investing money to improve the procurement experience for the clients internally as well. And so we're seeing kind of all the right fruits of our efforts coming through, and we have to be mindful that serving the client is an important part of the culture. And if we don't do that, then they will opt out.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It does transcend from the stores all the way up through procurement in that regard, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
So next 2 to 3 years, what do you see on the horizon?
Mm-hmm. Right now, we're entering kind of the second year of a sort of a transformation program of procurement. We decided to invest in the capability just after I joined, and we started to add resources about a year ago with a goal of obviously increasing the output of what we're doing as a function. And we've had a very successful year. You know, we've taken out $200 million from SG&A, so that's been really exciting for the organization. Now we want to try and do that again while we continue to rebuild. At the same time, we're laying a foundation for some of the things that we don't do as well today. So, you know, I think about innovation and what we'll be doing with the suppliers. You know, look at that as being where you'll be in 2 to 3 years from now. Today, we're just laying that foundation. If you look at compliance, we're just laying the foundation. We don't have a good, strong compliance platform, but we're building that with the view in mind that, you know, in F13, F14, and years beyond, that we'll be able to make sure we have the sustainable aspect of what we're doing today. So we're focused hard on the present, but we're also keeping an eye on the future with some strategic investments that are going to kind of pay off in the next 2 or 3 years. So it's a bit of a balance right now, but certainly the focus in terms of the current year is really on the talent, you know, making sure we have a good relationship with the business. We're also building a strong diversity platform.
Good.
So we've started that in the last year, so that's going well also. And, you know, when we're looking at those vendor relationships and the management of the vendors and raising our discipline. So a lot of things going on right now. It's kind of an exciting time to be in procurement at Best Buy.
Always exciting to be in procurement, but
exciting.
maybe exciting time at Best Buy, but it's always exciting to be in this career.
Yeah.
Every change anywhere in the world could affect you, and you never know. And every day you wake up and there's no
Yeah.
news. It's pretty exciting.
It is. It's interesting. You know, we're seeing everything now from things happening, you know, online and social media that can create, create activity in procurement that you wouldn't think would be related to that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things happening, you know, all around the world right now that are kind of landing up in procurement in some way, shape, or form, and you know, we're helping the business get through those things.
Well, good. So we're out of time, but I want to thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And it was great talking to you and getting to know you this week. I've really appreciated that. And folks, I'm Dawn Evans. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time.